Good evening, and Merry Christmas. It's a week before Christmas, a little less than a week. I've got a story. I felt like making a video, and this is this is not a story. This is more just a memory, and something I just felt like telling us. The things I remember. I'll tell you. Of course, this happened a long time ago when I was 30 years old. 30 years old. 30. It really made an impression on me at the time, and enough that I still remember it to this day. Put my little army man up. I made these candles. Supposedly they're beeswax. I don't know if that's better or not yet. Verdict's out. I think I'd probably buy paraffin next time. And this came from China, so who knows what it really is. Sorry. Probably is beeswax. I don't know that much about it. Alright, so this little story, this memory, really, it's just a memory. Happened to me a long time ago. Getting a longer time ago, year by year. When I was 30 years old, I was with a friend of mine. Went up to visit that friend's grandmother. And the grandmother was living alone in this great big old house in upstate New York. And I call this the prayers of an old woman because I don't remember her name. And she was nice, but she was elderly. I dare say, I'm old. This person was elderly, but still living alone, going up by herself in that house, and very glad to meet me and see her she was her granddaughter, whom I was with at the time. And I just want to say that I had my own room in that house. I think this woman was a Polish immigrant, for whatever that's worth, and she must have been born around 1905 or 1910. But she was very religious person, and I was told that before I went there, which was a plus in my book. Now I got to interject here. I've noticed in my videos that I play around with this tea bag quite a bit. I really couldn't tell you why. I think probably my mom used to drink tea a lot, and she used to do the same thing. And I think I picked it up from her, that she'd steep her tea like this. Do any of you do your tea like this if you drink tea? You know? So, yeah, I realize it looks kind of strange sometimes the way I play around with this. Back to the story. The memory. I just remember when I was alone, I stayed in that house 2 nights. Really big old wooden house, big old wooden house. But now just one old woman living there by herself, and she was happy to have company. So when I was in my room at nights, the old woman's room was next to mine, and I hate calling her old woman, but I don't know her name. I don't remember it. I remember what she looked like. She was a small, kind of wiry old woman. She looked like she could have been in her 80s at least easily. But I used to lay awake at night, and I could hear this woman praying. I could hear every word she said. And at first I'm like, I felt like I was invading her privacy, you know? Hearing this woman's devout, emotional prayers. And I thought, well, it's nothing wrong with it. She's not doing anything, you know. So I stopped trying to block it out, because this woman would pray before she went to bed. Apparently, she would pray. I think her prayers went on for like 45 minutes. I'm serious. She would pray, and I started listening to her, and I was really, really moved. And she really didn't leave anybody out. She remembered everybody she knew, to include me. And she would go right down this long list of other people. I didn't hear her pray for herself at all. She just was talking to God and very emotional at times, pleading to God to help this person out and that person and to protect this person. And I'll tell you, I don't think she left anybody out. And I was really, really impressed with her prayers, her prayer life. Really, if you're spiritual, you have a prayer life, and I don't think mine even close to what hers was. I don't think mine presently is not close to that. I don't know, what do you think of these red candles? I'm not getting into any type of cult stuff. I don't know. I made a whole bunch of candles, Christmassy colored ones. That's all. I don't know, there wasn't a story here. I just remember that woman's prayers stayed with me to this day. I was really super awestruck and impressed with her. I didn't say anything to her about it, of course. And hey, I listened to your prayers at night. I didn't say anything like that. But for 2 nights, maybe 3 nights, I forget, we stayed a weekend with her. And I would hear this woman praying at night, and she didn't take any shortcuts. She prayed for so many people. And she would get really emotional in her prayers too. You could hear the love and the concern. It wouldn't surprise me if she was crying at parts. And I wasn't eavesdropping on her. I could just hear her really loud and clear in my room. And I'm glad that I did, because it wasn't like she was doing anything to be ashamed of or anything personal. Well, a person's prayers to God, generally when I'm praying to God, unless it's at a dinner table or something like that, which anymore I'm just by myself, that's my personal life with God. I know there's a lot of scriptures in the Bible on prayer, and you know this too. I'll just say, I believe it's James 5:17 says, the prayers of the righteous person availeth much. And we're supposed to pray and pray all the time, and God hears our prayers. I'm to understand, even when we think He doesn't hear our prayers, He hears our prayers. And that woman must have been praying like that. Who knows? Maybe her spiritual life grew as she got older, because she was definitely elderly then. But I was super impressed with her prayers and the way she prayed. She was a Catholic, by the way, old school Catholic. And I was very, very impressed with her. And I don't know why I couldn't tell you what she was saying. I can just tell you that she must have prayed for like 50 people, young and old. And she prayed and didn't just say she really would pick this person. Like if she was thinking of her granddaughter, she wouldn't just say, bless and protect my granddaughter. No. She'd mention the granddaughter by the name, and then she'd spend about 2 or 3 minutes on each person, praying for their needs, praying for their soul. I guess that's part of what impressed me. Not only did she pray for everybody, I think, that she knew, but she took each one of them and spent some time, real time, talking to God about them. My computer ring. She spent a lot of time talking to God about these people. Right down. It's just, you could tell that she sincerely loved these people. And so, I guess that's it. I made this cup of tea, but there really wasn't a story here. I just wanted to remember this. And we're to pray about all things and pray often. And you'd be surprised at the things you can learn from some people that this woman was definitely a prayer warrior. To this day, I remember her prayers. And when it came time to leave her house, I don't know, I didn't say, obviously I didn't say anything to her about it, but, I just remember I admired her when I left. I don't remember what I said, but probably took her hand or something, told her it was good to meet her, and looked her in the eye and told her that, because I remember I admired her, really did, admire her deeply. And I wished her granddaughter was like that. Her granddaughter wasn't a very spiritual person. That didn't go on for too much longer. So, that's it. Y'all take care. Thank you for listening, and God bless each one of you. Well, they blow out better than the other ones. These Chinese bees. I wonder if it's Chinese bees that made these. It's the bee's knees. Chinese beeswax.